Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of A Gardener's Journey Homestead. You know what today is. It's our weekly video of seed starting. I'm excited as always. We are 7 weeks before the last frost date. Y'all, when I started this whole seed starting playlist, we were 12 weeks before the last frost date. Now we are 7. We're almost 50% of the way there before we can start putting our stuff out. If you're in my zone, I'm in zone 7B in the state of Tennessee, and every single week we are starting seeds from now until it's time to plant them out. So I have a whole seed starting playlist that I'll pop up here that if this is your first time watching, you can go back, get in sync, and understand what we're doing. So I started off this series with ordering seeds. I did my seed haul, and then I talked about how to get organized with your seed starting. Now for me, I'm starting thousands of seeds. That may not be what you're doing, but you can still follow along, grab the pieces that you need, and then throw out what you don't need. But for me, I showed you how I get organized. And we also, in that video, in one of the videos in the seed starting playlist, I talked about how do you know when to start seeds when, right? So for me, and this is not what I would recommend, don't just start all your seeds at one time. Like, don't just pick a day in the sky and say, I'm going to start all my seeds, tomatoes, squash, cucumbers, like the whole 9 yards. Like, don't do that. Not only is that not efficient, but that's also not good timing, right? Every seed has a preferred amount of time that you should start it if you're going to start indoors before you plant out. So this week's video, we're talking about the things that you would start 7 weeks before your last frost date. Now here in Tennessee, our estimated last frost date is April the 20th. So that is the date I'm going by. So if you count 7 weeks, it's right where I am today with 7 weeks. Now, a lot of things that you find, if you look on the back of your packet or you do research, it may say you can start 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost date. That's all still fine because 7 is in the middle of 6 or 8, right? So you can do week 6, you can do week 7, you can do week 8, you can do all 3, right? So some of the things that we're starting today are things that we started last week, and we're just starting more of them. So if you're brand new here, we live on 75 plus acres of land. Our growing space, we have 4 raised beds behind our house, which is where my garden started. Then we also have a high tunnel that we're going to go into today to start seeds. It's 30 by 96. And then we also have an outdoor in-ground garden space that's 4,000 square feet. So we got a lot of stuff to plant, which is why we're starting thousands and thousands of seeds, right? I think I was doing a quick calculation. I think we've already started 1,000, if not 1,000 seeds, we've already started very close to 1,000 seeds already. And we're only 5 weeks in, right? We started at 12 weeks. So each week I am sharing with you what I am starting. I'm also showing you the progress of what we started together the week before. So that way you can see on my end what germinated, what didn't germinate, what it looks like, what it should look like, and also to see if you are on track and to motivate you and to encourage you to keep going. That is what this series playlist is all about. If you have never started seeds before, it is not too late. I want to encourage you to start seeds. I don't care if you get 1 little tray, 1 little red solo cup, and 1 pack of seeds. Once you learn how to start seeds on your own, you're going to save money, you're going to save time, and you're going to build up your confidence as a gardener. I've said this before. If you've been following me, you know that the first time I tried to start seeds, it went awry. It went bad. It went very bad. None of those seeds ended up into the ground. I took a year off, and then I started doing research, and I figured out, with the help of the Lord, how to start seeds successfully. Last year we started, I think we had over 500 plants. I pretty much single-handedly started the seeds for all the stuff I was planting. I would say at least 90 to 95%. I did buy some stuff from the store. It was either stuff that didn't germinate well or just me being a gardener and just wanted to buy stuff, right? But 95% of the stuff that was planted, I started from seed. That is a huge accomplishment, and that is a huge cost savings. The other benefit of starting from seed is that you get a chance to grow what you want, right? When you're buying transplants at the big box stores, you are limited to what they offer you, right? You're limited to the types of tomatoes, the types of peppers. They're not going to have everything they're going to have the most common mainstream things that people want. So when you start your own seeds, you have control over what you're starting and what you're eating. So I hope this convinces you and encourages you to start seed. Now let's jump into this video. We're going to go into the tunnel and we're going to talk about what we're starting today. But before we do that, I want to show you the progress of the things that we started, you and I, just last week. So if you were here last week, or if you weren't and you go back and watch last week's video, 8 weeks before last frost date, you will see what we started. And now I'm going to show you the progress in just 7 days. Okay, guys, let's see the seedlings that we started just last week. So if you remember, we used our new trays from Epic Garden, the 16 sale, and we did the top row of peppers and then the bottom row of tomatoes. So you can just already see we've had some pretty good germination. So let's start at the top with the peppers. This is the Ajvarsky pepper. It just started germinating probably around day 6 or so. Today is day 8. So you can see I have some small germination there. We have germination in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So about 50% of this tray so far, if I count it correctly. Then moving over here to the jalapenos, you can see they germinated a lot quicker and are a little bit bigger. And so I would say in this one we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So pretty much 15 out of 16 in that one. Here is the Sprinter, which is a red bell pepper that is a greenhouse variety, specifically bred for the greenhouse. You can see we have pretty good germination there. I'm counting off the bat 9, 10, at least 12 out of the 16 so far. And then this is our cayenne. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, quick math, about 7 out of the 16. But remember, peppers can take up to 14 days. So even though the first week of germination is at this level, I do expect more germination. But for the first week, I think that's really, really good. Now let's go on to the bottom row, which are the tomatoes. The tomatoes germinated a lot quicker than the peppers. By day 5, I had germination. This is our Dr. Witchies, and you can see top row is completely germinated. Second row, we got 2, and then the third and bottom row, we have complete germination. So that's about 10, let's see, 13, almost, yeah, I would say about 14 or 15 out of 16, which is great. Here is our Amish paste tomatoes. Those are great, looking good. Here is the large red cherry. Now remember, tomato seeds are really small, so in some of these sales, there's more than one plant, as you can see there. We will take the strongest one, or we'll just up pot all of these. So it's almost like you get 2 for the price of 1. And then this very last one is the Rebelski, which is a greenhouse variety specifically for the greenhouse. And I would say we have about 50% germination in this one. So overall, just literally 8 days ago, and we have some pretty good germination. Okay, this is the other tray that we did together last week. So starting at the top with eggplant and the habanada, nothing on the habanada. The first couple of rows of eggplant, nothing, but we do have some eggplant there. That's fairy tale eggplant. You can see that there. And then over here is more fairy tale. And then these are our tomatillos. We had 5 of the 6 germinate, so that's pretty good. And then down here is the golden cow wonder. You see some germination there that literally just happened over the last 24 hours. And then some more germination here. That's giant Marconi on the left. And then we have one little cayenne right there. So overall, the cayenne is being very slow to germinate. And again, not as much germination here, but we do still have some germination. And we'll just keep letting it go and see what happens. Then over here to the right, remember we did 4 rows of marigolds in these big blocks. Pretty much those germinate. I'm gonna up pot these today in 2.5-inch cups. And then this very last row is pineapple tomato, and it did well. You can see also that it's a little long and spindly, and that's just because I had all this on a heat mat. I shouldn't have had the marigolds on a heat mat. They germinated in like 2 days, which is fine, but you can see they're long and kind of leggy. just because they were up before these guys and they were reaching for the light. So I'm just gonna up pot these to strengthen those legs, and then we'll just kind of go from there. But overall, last week's seedlings so far are doing good. Let me show you the week before from 2 weeks ago when we did our first round of peppers, and let me show you how those are doing. Okay, so these are the peppers that we did 2 weeks ago. You can see more have germinated since what I showed you last week. So remember, give them the 14 days. Don't give up and don't get discouraged, because I did not have this germination if you look back at last week's video. So that first row is the Burkanta, which is the yellow bell pepper greenhouse variety. Y'all, I have 15 out of 16. That's some pretty good germination. On the Sprinter, which is the row beside it, which is the red, again, pretty good germination. I have, I think, 13 out of 16. The next one is Milena. That has not germinated as well. We're going to actually do some more of that today. So I only have 6 out of, I'm saying 16, 6 out of the 12. So this was 11 out of 12. That was, I think, 10 out of 12. This is 6 out of 12. So only 50%. Maybe something else will pop up there. We'll see. We'll let it have another week. The jalapenos, the Pantera, has done great. This is a new jalapeno that I'm trying from Johnny's. It is a hybrid, and it has done extremely well with germination. And then look, y'all, last week I did not have sweet bonnet, and this week I have 5 out of the 6 germinated. So just like that, within another week. This is pimento pepper. It's done well. And then this here is the patchwork pepper from row 7. I have 5 out of 6 germinated. So overall, these are 2 weeks in, and they are looking great. Okay, so you can see the progress that happened on last week. So overall, I'm still feeling good about our seedling germination. Again, you win some, you lose some, you don't get them all. But overall, you can see that things are going well. So this week, we're going to start more peppers, tomatoes, and we're also going to do marigolds. So again, other things that you could be doing at 7 weeks before your last frost date is eggplant, Swiss chard. Those are also some things. And then obviously some different flowers. I did a whole video last week where we started 400 flowers, herbs, and lettuce. So, and again, that was at the 8-week mark. Those same things that I did on that video, you could be doing at 7 weeks. So again, you may be in a different growing zone than me, but whatever your last frost date is, just count 7 weeks backward. Now, some of you have already passed that. You're like 4 or 5 weeks before your last frost date, but some of you are behind me, right? You're only 8 or 9 weeks. No matter where you are, 7 weeks before your last frost date, even if it's not today, you can be starting those things. Now, I saw somebody's post on my Facebook, and they like just started all of their seeds at one time. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumber, squash, and they're in the same zone as me. Let me talk about why that's not a good idea. Here is the reason. The estimated last frost date is April the 20th. There may or may not be a frost, but let's just say you put your things out on April the 20th. That is 7 weeks from now. If you start squash, let's take that for example. You can direct sow squash, or you can start squash indoors. The recommended time to start squash indoors as a seed is usually around 2 to 3 weeks, right? Because squash grows very, very fast. The days to maturity, days to harvest on squash, that just means from the time you put the seed in the ground until the time that you can harvest it, is usually, for most varieties, I would say between 50 and 65 days, depending on the variety. Let's just say 50 to 70, right? So it doesn't take long for squash. In my growing zone, I can have multiple successions of squash because I have a long growing season, right? I can literally plant squash every 30 days until like September and still have squash. So if I were to start my squash right now, 7 weeks before, do the math, 7 times 7, 7 days in a week, is 49 days. Literally, if I'm starting now, by the time it's time to plant out, it's a big plant. That's really almost the time to harvest, right? And so what happens is if you start it now, it's going to get too root bound and too big, and you're going to be stuck with a plant in your house that needs to be outside in the ground for more space and for the roots to grow, but it's in your house as a big old plant because you started it way too soon. Does that make sense? Now, if you're doing a greenhouse, then you may have the liberty like me to plant it sooner. But for most people who are planting outside, if you're in zone 7, you would not be starting your squash now. And that's the reason why. I'm going to start my squash seeds. I think on my list, it's like 3 weeks ahead of time. Right? That gives, I mean, they germinate fast. That gets it to a pretty decent size. You can put it in the ground and you're good to go. Okay, so that is the reason why timing is important. Planning is important. Organization is important. So let's talk about what we're going to start today. We're going to start a lot of tomatoes and peppers. And today we're going to start off planting in our 16 cell trays. Y'all, I told you about these last week. These are from Epic Gardening. 16 cells. You can't break it. Like, it don't bend. It has no give. I really like these. I can fit 8 of these into a 1020 tray. So 16 times 8, what is that? 128. So I have 128 seeds in one 10 by 20 tray, just like that. And that way I'll be able to see which ones are good. And of course, I'm going to have to up pot them because they're tomatoes, but it gives me a chance to start more and save on space by using these 16 cell blocks. So we're going to get our blocks ready in the tray, and we're going to start with our tomatoes first, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, guys, so we got our soil in our trays. We got our labels done. And so let me tell you what we're going to do from a tomato standpoint. So this whole tray is going to be tomatoes, and so there'll be another 128. We are doing the Cayman, which is a brand new one. This is a greenhouse tomato. So last year, remember, I did the Rebelski. And so this year I'm doing the Rebelski, but I'm also going to try Cayman as well. So that's from Johnny's. I'm doing Big Beef Plus. I'm doing another new one, which is Buffalo Sun from Territorial Seed. I want to shout out Edna. She's one of my subscribers. Remember, y'all, I was complaining about Territorial Seeds and the shipping. She lives in Oregon. I think it's where Territorial Seed is. She was like, hey, I can go by there and get you some. She literally went to Territorial Seed Company, bought me the seeds, and shipped them to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So Buffalo Sun, that's a new one that I'm going to do. I'm doing a traditional beefsteak tomato. I'm doing Dr. Witchy's, which I did last year, which is a favorite. Paul Robeson, which has a great smoky flavor. And again, this is an heirloom. It does not produce a lot, but what it does produce tastes really, really good. So I love the flavor of this one. And then, of course, you got to do Cherokee Purple. Again, it's not great in terms of production and look, like, because it just doesn't have that smooth, no defect type of tomato, but the quality of the taste is excellent. So this has great flavor. Then for paste tomatoes, I'm doing Opaca, which I did this 2 years ago. They did well. Last year did not do well, but I'm going to try it again. It's a great paste tomato from Seed Savers. I'm also going to do Salvatierra Select, which is another great paste tomato. And then I'm going to do Sun Gold, which is a tried and true favorite cherry tomato. And then I'm going to do Sakura, which is a cherry tomato, but specifically for the high tunnel. We did this last year. When I say it produced, it is prolific. It did extremely well, so we will be doing that again. That'll always be in my garden. And then the very last one is Sunrise Bumblebee. That is a new one, and I think it's similar to the Sun Gold. So we'll be doing that one as well. So that's basically what we're going to do in this tray here. So I'm going to go ahead and seed, and then I'll come back and tell you what we're going to do in the next tray. Y'all, this tray of tomatoes is done. We have 128 down. I am out of space on my table. So I'm going to go ahead and probably put this in my car. We'll come back and we'll start our next set, which is going to be peppers and marigolds. Okay, y'all, so now we're set up for our peppers. So we're doing another tray of 128, the 16 cell, and this tray will be all peppers. So as a reminder, in case you did not see last week's video when we started the tomatoes and peppers. Tomatoes and peppers love heat. They will germinate faster on a heat mat. So once I take these in my house today, they will be on a heat mat with a humidity dome on top of them to help keep the moisture in. For the first couple of days, the humidity dome I will keep closed. So I have the bootstrap farmer kind, and I can open the vents up at the top. There's 2 vents at the top. I showed that, I think, on last week's video. I will keep those vents closed, usually for the first 48 hours, because I want to see condensation. I want to see the moisture being kept, and just want it to be real, like, warm and steamy, right? Once I start to see germination over 50% of the tray, I will take the humidity dome off. And then I will take it off the heat mat and put it under lights and just let the rest of them germinate naturally. Now, can you germinate? Will your seeds germinate without a heat mat? Yes, they can. It's just going to be a lot slower. So the average time for germination for peppers is going to be between 7 and 14 days. Mine have been germinating in around 7, but I have had some that take up to the 14 days, as you saw in the previous video. For tomatoes, they can usually take anywhere, I would say, from 8 to 10 days. Mine are usually around 5 or 6 days. Again, because I'm using a heat mat, it's just going to make it go a lot quicker. So if you have a heat mat, pop them on a heat mat with a humidity dome. Do not keep them on there indefinitely. Take it off the heat mat and under the humidity dome once you start to see germination. That will be the key of you growing really, really healthy plant starts, right? Now, a lot of times your growth rate is uneven, meaning you'll have germination in some of your tray, and so they'll start popping up, you know, reaching towards the light, where some have not germinated. So you'll end up with what we call some leggy tomatoes. And I did a video last year, and I'm sure I'll be talking about it again. You can just up pot them and put them deeper into the soil, and that will still save your plants from being leggy. But sometimes it's hard to avoid the legginess, just because the growth rate or the germination rate is a little bit different. But once you have good germination and then they start to get leggy and they're all kind of the same, then that's usually a light issue. The light is too far away. You want your light about 1 inch above your seedlings. And as the seedling continues to grow, you want to continue to move your light up. So let's talk about peppers. So this is the 3rd week that we're starting peppers. Remember, I'm growing lots and lots of things. So that's why I've been starting peppers every single week for the last 3 weeks. For you, if you have a smaller garden, you can just start your peppers all in 1 week, and usually 6 to 8 weeks. So week 6, 7, or 8 is a good time to start your peppers, because they're going to take a while to grow. They're going to take a while to germinate, and you want them to be a good, healthy size with a good root system before you put them in the ground. And that way you'll have production a lot faster. So let's talk about the peppers that we're growing today. So today we are doing more of the Melena, which is the orange bell pepper. That's a greenhouse variety. That's the one that I showed you that only had like 50% germination. So we're going to do more of those. We're going to do a new one to me called Orange Sun, which is an orange sweet pepper. We're also going to do another new one from M.I. Gardner called Coral Bell Pepper, which is another orange. We're going to do the giant Marconi. We did that last week and had a little bit of germination. More of the Ajvarsky, which is a roasting red pepper, which did well last year, was very prolific. We're going to do more cayenne, habanero, and then this is also 3 new ones I'm doing. The sriracha pepper, because I want to make sriracha sauce. So this is from Urban Farmer. We're going to do this. We're going to do a serrano pepper. I've never done serrano. Let me know if you've done serrano, what you use it for, because I don't remember why I bought this. Something intrigued me about it, but I don't remember what it is. But let me know if you've done serrano, what you use it for. And then we're going to do a Thai red chili pepper, which is a new one to me as well. Then I have another new one from Territorial Seed. Thank you again for my subscriber who went and got those for me. Gold Sweet Italian. Pretty colors. I thought it would be nice. And then, of course, we're going to do some more jalapenos and Sugar Rush Peach. I'm not going to do nearly as many Sugar Rush Peach as I did last year, because they're still in my freezer. Y'all haven't done anything with them. I mean, I use them like fresh, but I have a ton in my freezer that I haven't even made into hot sauce yet. I'm going to. Maybe that'll be a project we do this week. Maybe so. So I'm not going to. I had a ton of plants last year. I'm not going to do that many, just a few. So let's go ahead and get our peppers seeded. And then we only have one more round to go and we'll be done. Okay guys, so we got all the peppers done. That's them back there. The very last thing we're gonna do is marigolds. I'm doing a whole tray of marigolds. This is a tray that I used last year. It's from Bootstrap Farmer. It's a 72 cell tray. It is not my favorite, but I'm using it today because of space. I don't want to do soil blocks, and so this is a way for me to just do a whole tray of marigolds and they all be the same, and it'll be much quicker than doing a whole lot of soil blocks, because the soil blocks will give me more than what I need. So I'm doing 4 different kinds of marigolds, so there'll be 72. And again, that may sound like a lot. I'll use what I can, but I'll put them all throughout my garden, in the tunnel, and the back of the house among my tomato plants, and then whatever I don't use, then I will just sell them, the marigold starts, or whatever. So we're gonna do a whole tray. I have 4 different kinds of marigolds. I don't like the traditional kind that you see like in the big box stores. They're just like yellow and plain. Y'all know me, I like some color. So this is Safari Tangerine, that's pretty. Orange Hawaii, and then Colossal Red Gold Bicolor. And then the very last one is Lemon and Tangerine Gems. I just bought that the other day. Yeah, I'm still buying seeds. Yeah, I am. What would you expect? So this is Lemon and Tangerine Gems. I think that's really pretty, from Botanical Interest. So we're going to get these started, and then just like that, we'll be done. Okay guys, so we got the marigolds done. That's that purple tray back there. So pretty much everything that we wanted to seed is done. We did a tray of tomatoes, a tray of peppers, and a tray of marigolds. So we have started over 300 and something seeds. So 128, that's 256 plus 72. 256 plus 72, that's like 300 and, I don't know, 30, 40, something along in there that we've started seeds today. That's another 300 and something plants. Now what we're going to do is we're going to up pot these marigold soil blocks into these 2.5 inch cups, just because they're real leggy. And so I'm going to put them in 2.5 inch pots that you see here, and up pot these just to conserve on that. Okay guys, so we got it done. I up potted the marigolds, and then I went ahead and up potted the eggplant that had germinated. That was very little. That'll go ahead and give it some more space. So I was trying to fill up the tray. I have everything except this one row with something in it. But these right here that have germinated that I showed you before, the Golden Cow Wonder and the Giant Marconi, they're a little bit too small to up pot. So by the end of the week, they should be good to go, and we'll fill this tray out. But I'm feeling quite accomplished. We got a tray of peppers, a tray of tomatoes, a whole tray of marigolds, and then we up potted the marigolds that we had already did. I up potted the tomatillas, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 fairy tale eggplant. And I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna do, if I do any more eggplant, it's gonna be another variety that's not the because fairy tale is like a mini eggplant. None of my other ones germinated. Oh, I see one black beauty over here. So we'll see if that does anything, and if so, we'll up pot that. But I'm not going to do that very much eggplant at all. I'm just going to keep that the way it is. But y'all, we have now made it through another week of seed starting, 7 weeks before the last frost date. So we are getting closer and closer and closer. I hope that things are going well in your garden. I hope that your seed starting is going well. Comment below and let me know how your seedlings are looking, if you're having success, especially if this is your first time starting from seed. I want to know how things are going. If you have any questions, please put them down below. I am excited about the summer season ahead of us, and little bit by little bit, we are getting ready and we are getting prepared for that season. Remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.